Hello and welcome to another exciting Let's Play starring me, L1011 Widebody. And today we're going to be playing one of my favorite games of all time, Transport Tycoon, an MS-DOS game from the olden days, back when computers had visible file systems and things of that sort. So one of my all-time favorite games. It's a real-time strategy sort of empire building kind of thing where you build all kinds of different transportation things and move goods and services around, and it's just one of my favorite all-time games. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Good old DOS box. Where would we be without you? Microprose presents there we go. A game by Chris Sawyer, who would later go on to much more acclaim with his Roller Coaster Tycoon series, which I already played the first game of. Transport Tycoon. Look at those fancy futuristic vehicles of the future! And bullet trains and propeller planes and stuff. Alright, here we are at the main menu. Very nice, colorful graphics and the jazzy OPL2 soundtrack. Let's go take a look at our game options before we start playing. These are all display options. Town names on or off displayed. Obviously, you can't dename a town. Signs, animation level, high or low. Building solid, transparent, detail level, high. Road vehicles, drive on right. Currency, US dollars. Distance units, miles. English town names. Let's go with American, because that's where I live. Difficulty, custom. Let's see. Maximum number of competitors, all of them. Since we're just going for pure demonstration purposes, normally I would not quite play like this. Ooh, 6% interest. That's... I wish I had loans that low. Vehicle running costs, construction speed of competitors, intelligence, high. Well, that's a gross exaggeration. Vehicle breakdowns, subsidy multiplier, cost of construction, we'll set that to low. Because the last thing I want to do is to run out of money and sit here staring at the screen. Quantities of seas, lakes, economy fluctuating. Change that to steady. Train reversing at end of line and at stations. And disasters I'm going to leave on, so maybe we'll encounter a few disasters and can show you how they look. Let's see. But that's enough of that. Let's go ahead. Oh, also there's a two-player if you have, wow, a serial modem. Boy, that's old school. Here you go, new game. Manager's name, L1011 Widebody. New transport company launch, Muir and Company. Bartborough. Oh! Color scheme, red. New face. Let's pick a cool guy like that. That is a cool looking dude. Company name. Kicking your ass, Co. Alright. So here we are in the main screen. You see one of our competitors is already building all kinds of railroads all over the place. First, let's pause and take a little look around the game screen. You got your date up in the corner, your amount of cash, pause, disk options, save game, abandon game, quit to DOS. And if you notice, the actual main menu of this game doesn't have a quit button. So you actually have to go into a game in order to quit the game. And let's see, this lists stations. Let's see, oh, there we go. If you hold right click, it gives you important information. Display map, town directory, or subsidy. So open up the map of the world, since that's going to be important. You can bigify it by pushing that button. various industries that are color-coded, which is the most useful display on a screen, is to show you the industries. You can also show transportation things. So here's this guy's tracks. Do it by company, owner, and show vehicles. But really, the only one you really need is topography, which they call it contours for some reason, and industries. So we'll take a little bit better look at that in a second. Display company finances. You can look at yourself. You can take out more loans with perfect freedom. And take a look at our... Whoops. That's the company menu. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to take a look at this guy. He's already been spending his money like it's growing on trees. Because that's where paper comes from. And this is just this screen again. The only interesting thing is tells you how many vehicles you have. Oh, also you can build a headquarters, which you know, it's not that interesting. Oh, backspace doesn't close the window in this one. In Roller Coaster Tycoon, backspace closes the window, but you have to do it the old-fashioned way. Here's a bunch of different graphs: operating profit, income, delivered cargo, performance history, company lead cargo, payment rates. This is the only one that's really going to do anything right now, since we don't have any vehicles or any quarters. It updates by quarter, I believe. So as we get a little bit further in the game, we'll definitely take a look at some of those. So here's a good indication of kind of the way this works. This is how much it pays for 10 units of cargo, and a distance of 20 squares, and then how many days in transit it takes. So basically, this is like the depreciation rate. So you can see, let me clear some of these out. Take a look at some of these passengers. Start really pretty low, actually, and they depreciate pretty sharply. Mail doesn't depreciate as much as I would have expected. You'd think mail would be important to deliver on time. See, about the same rate as oil. Livestock depreciates pretty fast because I guess they die in transit. It's a very pleasant thought. And goods depreciates pretty quickly because I guess furniture expires. I don't know. Grain does too. That's kind of obvious. Grain, whoops. Oh, I was looking at the same thing. Yeah, but grain depreciates pretty quickly because obviously it spoils. Wood is pretty stable. Iron ore is another good one. Basically, the less it depreciates, the larger of a train you can build, because it'll take longer, but it's worth it to carry the extra cargo. Steel also depreciates, and valuables depreciates a whole heck of a lot. But your big money maker in trains is going to be coal, because it's got a very shallow depreciation and it already starts pretty high. So that's usually kind of the bread and butter commodity, transport commodity is coal. And plus you could carry a lot of it with a train. And these ones variously tell you a list of company vehicles. Zoom in, zoom out. And here's your various build buttons. You can build railways, build roads, build a dock, build airports, build trees. And building trees is important for manipulating the local authority, which I'll show you as we go along. So the only one of these that really changes is railways, because once you get to 1995, 2000, you can start building monorails, which are like faster trains with half as many rails. And then here's the Sound of Music options. And you can play around with all these tracks and stuff. I used to have all kinds of custom playlists, but they're all gone now. I already heard this one. I like this song. Fell apart on me. And what else? news reports. We'll do the last, but it doesn't show if it's paused, so that's the last message. And message settings. And in this one, you can only turn them on or off. But in the sequel, Transport Tycoon Deluxe, you could actually set them to... I believe you could set them to just be a ticker. And this one doesn't actually have the ticker in it. But in Transport Tycoon Deluxe, there's a ticker that runs across the bottom of the screen, and it'll just show up as words, so it's not, you know, cluttering up the whole screen. And then, let's see, you could use this as a query tool. So this tells you things like how much it costs to clear, who owns it, cargo accepted, 6 days passengers, 2 days mail, 3/8 goods. So that basically means that once you have, say, enough buildings like next to each other that accept 1 passenger. So like if I built a station here, it would be able to accept it would be able to accept passengers, is what I'm saying. Because there's a church accepts 2/8, and this one accepts 6/8, so that would be 8/8. So that's how that works. Close that. Let's see. Transparent buildings. That can be useful for building tracks. You can change the difficulty settings. And then, of course, about Transport Tycoon. Copyright in 1994. Version 1.06.011, 25th October 1994, 165117, GST, all systems nominal. So let's go ahead and start actually doing some stuff, because that's what we're here for. So let's take a look. We're looking for a coal mine. So there's 3 basic kinds of industries. There's industries that are producers, like coal mines, forests, and iron ore mines, oil wells. Yeah, things that only produce a commodity. And there's also receivers, like the power station receives coal, and the oil... well, no. Actually, I think that's the only one that's only a receiver. And then the other ones are producers and receivers. Or what would be a good word for that? Consumers? So like the sawmill. If you take wood to the sawmill, it turns it into goods, is what I'm saying. So it both consumes and produces. And the steel mill requires... let's see, let's just take a look at one. Requires iron ore and produces such and such amount. And in this first one, all the industries that can produce something will always produce something. But the way that it works, instead, it produces a very small amount. And when you deliver iron ore to it, it'll create a lot more. So you can make a whole chain. And the steel mill is actually an interesting one. You can take iron ore to the steel mill, which turns it into steel, then take the steel to a factory, which consumes the steel, and then it turns it into goods, and then you take goods to a city. So you could go through the whole supply chain, which is pretty cool. So let's find a coal plant that's near a power plant. Let's see. Here's one. Power plants are red. So here's a possible one here. There's a possible one here. Oh, this one looks better. This one's pretty close. So for our first one, we just want to build a real simple route so we can just start getting off the ground and start making some money. So let's go ahead and start building. First, you need to build a rail station like that. And then here are your various direction types. And you could use 1, 2, 3, and 4 to automatically select it. So that's our competitor is built a train, and the train has arrived. So what I want to do is, now when you build a station, it has an area of effect. So what I'm trying to do here, I want to avoid being in the oil well area of effect, because then it'll start attracting oil, and we're not interested in that. And then build a train depot, and then build a train. New vehicles. So you got all different kinds of vehicles. Let me pause real quick to just kind of give you a brief overview of this. So this early in the game, we've only got 3 options. The really cheap Ginty class, the Stanya Crab, which has a good speed and a good power and low running costs, and then the Grizzly A3, which is very fast, more expensive, and has high running costs. So cost is cost, speed is top speed, running cost, and obviously that's how much it costs a year to run it. Capacity, some trains can actually carry different things. I believe they only carry mail though in this one. Designed is the year that it was introduced. So some vehicles, actually all vehicles, all locomotives I should say, will eventually become obsolete a certain number of years after they've been designed. Life 20 years is kind of the lifespan of a vehicle, so after 20 of an individual vehicle I should say. So after 20 years it'll start having really bad reliability and breaking down a lot. And max reliability is the reliability that it's at. It's kind of nebulous how reliability works as a percentage of, I don't know what it's a percentage of, but the higher it is, the better, the less it'll break down. But obviously the way that it's calculated, it doesn't preclude it from breaking down like twice in rapid succession, even if it has a high reliability, because it's some kind of random number generator crap. And then there's all the different train cars, and you only get the options of one type. Each one carries something, so it doesn't really make much difference. So we're gonna go ahead and build the Stanya Crab because it's a lot cheaper to run than the Grizzly A3, even though it's slower. And the way vehicles work, two railway cars counts as a tile. So this is 1 tile, 2 tiles, 3 tiles. And if you have a station of 3 tiles length, that's ideal. And if any cars stick out, you can have more cars than the station can carry, but it really slows down loading, like the actual loading of cargo. You can see we got wood that's being delivered here, so that's gonna sit there and rot, I suppose. Set orders. Go to starting wood ETH and full load. Then go to Nardingworth Falls West and unload. And off he goes on a brand new adventure. Chug it away. And I get a message that first train arrives. So there's different cargo ratings for different services, and there's a couple different things that go into the calculation of it, but basically the more often that you pick up goods, like leaving a lot of cargo laying around, will decrease the rating. And the longer a vehicle is loading, it'll go up. And there's some other modifiers like new vehicles. New vehicles cause a bonus. Like if it's just been built to sell brand new and shiny and stuff, they like that. Which means that eventually over time, as this route continues to exist, it'll eventually lose that bonus and decrease. But that doesn't really do much unless you're in direct competition with another, like if there was another CPU station. The industries deliver to whoever has they deliver more to whoever has the higher transport rating. And if enough wood is sitting around, then the rating goes to, I think it's like abysmal is like the bottom one. Eventually they'll stop delivering entirely, so but that's not a big deal. Broken down. Unless, I don't think there's, I think I saw a sawmill anywhere near here. Well, there's one over here on this island. The Island of Wood. Actually, I'm going to call it that. Isle of Wood. Yeah, you could rename towns, give them all kinds of silly names. So, let's see. Well, there was a couple of other potential stations here. Here's another coal plant. So this route's a bit longer, but we could still make it work. But I'll turn that off. So I'll show you some of the more interesting kind of construction and rail signals and things you can build. It was really greatly improved in Transport Tycoon because it added the one-way signals, which meant you could have like one continuous loop track where they would come to the station this way and then go back on a different route, and it was only one way, which is pretty cool. You don't really get too much in the way of that kind of flexibility when you've only got one-way signals. Build a depot here. So here's a subsidy offer and a new vehicle offer. So subsidies, they increase the amount that you'll get paid if you deliver grain from this place to this factory. That's pretty straightforward. And then you also have new vehicles that get released periodically. We have just designed a new road vehicle. Would you be interested in a year's exclusive use of this vehicle so we can see how it performs before making it universally available? And then it gives you some statistics for that. And actually, I'm going to say yes, because I'm going to build some bus lines in a little bit. Because I'm not playing 100% competitive. I just want to demonstrate the whole functionality of this game. And buses are generally not particularly profitable. Which is kind of the problem with road vehicles in general. They're not... I remember reading somebody summed it up pretty well on one of the various Transport Tycoon forums I used to frequent. Said basically that the rule of thumb was anything that you can, any two services you can fit on one side of the, on a maximum zoomed in thing. So like if you had a industry here and an industry here, you could fit them in on one screen, is what I'm saying, was a good for buses, for road vehicles. And anything that you could fit in on this, on the second level of zoom, was ideal for rail vehicles. and anything further than that is airplanes or ships. And I always thought that was a good way to sum up how it all works, or at least the best kind of, you know, sort of way to make it happen. So here's our second station where it's going to accept coal, and always make sure to build a depot at the end of a station. Oh, and this one doesn't let you build on angles either. Oh, you can't build signals on an angle in this one. I forgot about that. Oh. Okay. That's no big deal. So, let's just go ahead and just build a real simple line. The way that the computer uses it, and I'll show you that in a second, is they build passing spots like this. And then you put a signal on each end. And basically the trains will come and they'll go through and they'll wait here for the next signal. Whoops. Since you don't want trains to run into each other, unless you're sadistic. I wouldn't know anything about that. So all you really need is enough space for a full train to fit. So I believe this should be good. So let's go ahead and start building more coal vehicles. 2, 3, 4, 5. Go to... and then go to the other guy. And unload. Unfortunately, in this version, you can't copy orders from one vehicle to another, which is kind of annoying. Oop, no, don't escape. I want to click on you in the window. Yay. I believe in Transport Tycoon Deluxe. Maybe not. So, I know I keep talking about Transport Tycoon Deluxe. Oh, I should... Do I need to build another signal here? Oops. Let's try that, see if that helps. Then I do keep talking about Transport Tycoon Deluxe a lot. So that was really the more popular version. So although Transport Tycoon did very well, and even though most people were exposed to it through demos, because back in the old days on CD, Microprose would put demos of a bunch of games on their different ones. And Transport Tycoon was one of the ones that was on pretty much any CD game that Microprose released around this time. And I got a lot of exposure from that. But Transport Tycoon Deluxe was the sequel, and it greatly expanded it and just kind of improved it a lot in general. So, and it added a lot of features, and I kind of get confused a little bit by which feature is in which one. So you can see them passing each other like that. Passing the train on the left-hand side. And then later, eventually, I believe the source code was released, and there's a couple of different Windows ports, like OpenTTD, that add way more features and all kinds of cool stuff. So I do kind of get a little confused by which features are in which version. So, but if you find this interesting, you should definitely go check out OpenTTD. You can get that at just do a Google search for that. It's all one word. And there's different places you can download the necessary files to run it. Let's see, how are we doing here? So you can see we spent a lot on new vehicles and construction. So let's see, let's find a city. Town directory. Oh, this one doesn't list the population either. That must have been a new feature. Transport Tycoon Deluxe lists the population, so you could tell which cities were biggest. I guess I could just kind of eyeball it just by the size of the amount of structure around it. Let's see. Of course, it's hard to see with. I don't care. Go away. Leave me alone. I'm trying to pick one that's long, so I can have a nice long bus route. And I think this one is the one that we're going to go with. So I'm going to close my trains since I've had enough trains for now. Let's build our bus station. So you can build bus stations, build lorry loading bays, which is like Britishese for trucks, build road vehicle depots. So it's basically the same as trains, except you don't need to build as much infrastructure. Flatland required. Build our road depot. Let's see, build here, and then here, and here. Lots of stations. So let's pause to take a little look at road vehicles. It's basically the same thing as trains. The only difference really is that a lot of times there'll be more than one kind of vehicle for a given cargo, and that's because the way that vehicles are released is they kind of work in generations. So like there's the first generation of vehicles. Notice these are all 1926, 1925, and then later on like the 50s or 60s, there'll be another generation of vehicles, and they'll release a new vehicle for every cargo type, and then again in the 80s or 90s, I don't remember. So that's how that works. So let's go ahead and build some buses. And you'll notice that the reliability for our brand new bus is crap. 53%. And that's because when vehicles are brand new, they start low with reliability, and the longer they're out around, the better the reliability gets as they kind of work the bugs out, just like any kind of vehicle. I'm going to make him go in a different direction. Yay. And I'm just gonna tell them to just to not stop and take a full load, because it doesn't. It's more important to just have them moving around, I suppose. And in the first year, when you have a exclusive rights to build a vehicle, the reliability doesn't go up at all, which is your reward for agreeing to help them. Yeah, so you already have a lot of passengers for this station. Not so much for this one. And a couple for this one. And this is more where the ratings come into effect, because you want really good ratings, obviously, to attract as much passengers as you can. And the best way to attract ratings is to get lots of vehicles regularly servicing. So we'll build a couple more. Yeah, go away. Well, population 984, passengers last month. Pretty good. And then mail, which is mail. Cities produce passengers and mail. Go to, and that should be good. I don't know how particularly profitable it's going to be, but that's basically just how road vehicles work. So they're usually pretty good in cities, actually, because you can set up these nice bus routes and use the existing road network. It looks like they're all jamming up over here. They can only have two vehicles in it at a time, so if more than one shows up, they'll just kind of get lost and confused and start running in circles and crap like that. So that's road vehicles. Let's see, what else do we have to explore in this wonderful game? Let's see, what is this? So let's see if we can find... Oh, there's one. So, the only really practical cargo for ships, you could try running them between coastal cities, running ferries or later hovercrafts, which is pretty cool actually, and it's kind of worth it just to see them cruising around. But unless you have unless you happen to have industries that just happen to be on the coast near each other, there's really no point in using them. You can go an entire game without using any ships. But in this case, there's an oil well and then an oil refinery, both on the coast. Isle of Wood coal mine increases production. Good for them. Let's borrow some more money. And oil refineries are I believe in this game, I think, yeah, oil refineries are limited to being on the coast, so that's what these yellow guys are here. You'll notice there are no oil refineries inland. So that's the only real time consistently that it might be worth using a boat. So let's build a dock. Site unsuitable. The water is rushing in and flooding our new dock land. And it makes a funny noise when you build a dock. Sploosh. Okay, so build a dock. And then build one over here. So you need a ship depot which sort of magically floats on the water. So you have oil tanker, passenger ferry, coal carrying ship, goods carrying ship. And in this one you can't refit vehicles like you can in Transport Tycoon Deluxe. So these are your only options. Carry coal, oil, people, mail, or goods. So let's build an oil ship. Tell him to go to the docks and then fully load. And then go to the other docks and unload. And one of the big problems with ships in this game, especially this one, and less so in the sequel, is that they tend to get lost very easily. So let's watch it fill up with goods. Capacity 220 tons, carrying 102 tons. And this tells you some other information like the age. Ships last a longer time, which is kind of nice. Running costs are pretty high though, I guess because they're big. And profit will steadily go down until it makes money. Let's build another one. Go to Plornley Docks. Go to Plornley Valley. So I want to wait for my first ship to reach full capacity and leave. Because if there's more than one vehicle at a dock or an airport or anything that you can have more than one vehicle loading at a time, the loading thing gets kind of messed up, and they both load equally, which is to say that they both get full around the same time, which is really inefficient because then you have both vehicles going, you know, at the same time, especially in railroads, and then there won't be enough capacity, and that's bad. Oh, and there's a lighthouse. Hello, lighthouse. Why can't you be demolished? That's so strange. Yay, my ship is full. Send the other one. Also, ships are slow. So very slow. Oh, it's gonna take forever. Oh. Well, I'll leave those in the corner and you can watch them, because I'm impatient. And then the last thing we need to build is an airport for airplanes. And airports are pretty straightforward. You just build one. You need flat land, of course. No ski ramp jumps at the airport. You build one. And then you find a good spot and build another. And then tell the airplanes to go between them. This looks like a good spot, I think. Oh, also you could build tunnels in this game like that one. But I always try to avoid building tunnels because they're very expensive. That should be good enough, I suppose. Okay, let's build an aircraft. Oh, too many windows open. I lost my ship. There he is. Okay, close our airports. Hey look, he's at the thing! Ah, he wins the $14,000 grand prize. So, ships can actually be kind of profitable. They're just really no fun to use. For lack of a better term. Hey, there's the bus that I accepted. Okay, let's build some planes. I like airplanes. Oh, I don't have enough money for airplanes. Oh yeah, the probably should have thought ahead a little bit. The fraps counter, the frame counter is actually covering up the money on my screen. Hopefully you couldn't see that, but I couldn't see the money indicator in the corner. Let's see, build airplanes. I like airplanes. So you just tell it to go from one spot to another. Hey, I found it all by myself. And I just tell it to full load at each side, and there's really no reason not to, because it'll be smart enough to unload its existing cargo. Bang! He's already fully loaded. Let's take a look at number 1. Go to this guy, go to this guy. Full load, full load. Off he goes. Non-hill steel mill increases production. First train arrives. First train arrives! Too much news! News overload! The messages are all over my screen. Well, they were. And there we go. Send off the last one. Oh, here's the CPU attempting to move land around in order to figure out how to build something somewhere. Hey, I have an idea. Oops. Oh, that was my idea! You stole my idea! Man! That's okay. I still have more room for my idea. Citizens arrive at somewhere or another. Aw, jeez, flat land. There. Up yours, computer. So, let's see. Change him. Add this one. And now he can go to 3 places. But these old-timey airplanes aren't very profitable. So at this stage in the game, it's really early. We only have one aircraft, and that is the Junkers Ju-52, apparently freshly imported from soon-to-be Nazi Germany. Unfortunately, these. What are you doing? Are you drunk or something? And on fire. Man, that's like the pilot hat trick. Where was I? Where are you going? Come on, land! Man, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, these numbers are kind of meaningless at this point since we don't have anything to compare them to, but the capacity of aircraft will eventually go up further. That's really the only main thing. And then jet aircraft will be introduced, which go faster. First aircraft arrives at such and such lands. Did I tell you to load? Yeah, I did. Ugh, that's it. I'm tired of that. Arrival of first vehicle competitor station? No. Okay, let's build another airplane. Oh. Let's not build another airplane. No, that's not the right button. This button. Okay, there we go. Go to Conberg. Go to Fort Bender, Bondhattan. Then go to Mentborn. All these names are silly. There you go. Off you go. There you can see it's already starting to back up. With, Oh. What was that? Did I get a telegram? Peffing field. I need the map. I'm getting lost. Where's my airport? There it is. Okay, that should be good. Let's zoom out. Watch our airplanes merrily plowing along. We and being on fire. It's kind of the weird thing about how airplane breakdowns are handled is because they don't cause a crash, which is kind of strange. Although I do remember reading something somewhere that said that if it was broken down while landing, it had a higher chance of crashing. Airplanes do crash. I know that sounds kind of stupid when you think when you say it like that, but that is one of the perils of airplanes, is that they do have a tendency to crash. Later on, you get jet airplanes, which go twice as fast. And then when those ones break down and catch fire, they go as fast as the propeller planes. And then also, eventually you do get to get the Concorde. And you can build a Concorde. And it goes really fast. Really, really fast. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so now that we've been playing for a bit, and we should have some statistics, let's take a look at our graphs. Operating profit. I am the operator. Although this guy looks like he's doing pretty well too. But that's probably because he's building a lot more, a lot faster, and I'm kind of taking my time because I'm also showing things off. So that's pretty straightforward. Operating profit. Income is just strictly income, so obviously that doesn't include the cost of doing things. So, oh look, they're all going around. Hey, a new train. I'm not building any more trains though. I think I'm almost done with this one. Delivered cargo. That's just sheer number of units delivered. That isn't particularly interesting. Performance history. This is the one that's a bit more nebulous. So the way that company performance, oh, that just shows the numbers, or the companies, is calculated. I'm not exactly sure, but I believe that things like having more vehicles increases it, and the more cargo you deliver. I remember reading somewhere that it was like, when it says maximum rating is 1,000, it's actually like a block of different cumulative ratings. So like you'll get, if you have X number of vehicles, you get 50 points, and the percentage of that you are to that X. Say if X is 20 and you have 10, then you get 25 points. And number of stations, I believe, is another one, and number of cargo delivered is another one, and I don't remember all the other ones, but I believe it's got something to do with that. But the kind of the shorthand explanation is that it goes up the bigger your company is, and the better you're doing as far as, you know, operating income and profits and things. Company league table. This just converts your performance history into a title. So because me and this other guy are over, what is that, like 120 or something. The rating is traffic manager. It's just a nice little, you know, kind of shorthand rating for how you're doing. And I believe that's it. So let's see what else. Let's see if there's anything else I can. Oh, here we go. One last thing to do, and I'm gonna do this pretty just really quick and dirty. So let's build a really long platform. I'm going to show you the way that cargo chains work as far as producing and such. So there's a factory right over here with 1 billion CPU guys around it. Build a station right here. Blah. Go around and around. Round and round. What comes around goes around. I'll tell you why. Hey, let's build a tunnel. And then let's build a bridge, because I haven't showed you what those look like yet. You build a bridge, you have different options, which is kind of cool. And they all have different speed limits and stuff. So I'm going to build a suspension bridge, because suspension bridges are cool. But for some reason the lattice, the really scary, complicated looking lattice bridge is the fastest. Has the highest speed limit, so I don't know why that is. I guess suspension bridges bounce too much or something. Build. And then it's always a good idea to have a depot at the other end. So one thing I didn't mention is that besides allowing you to create vehicles at a depot, that's also where vehicles go to get their reliability replenished. To get serviced every... The default is 150 days. You could change that if you want. Let's see, livestock. And then grains. Go! Whoops. Maybe I should give you orders first. Your orders, Commander. Some of this music is really happy and fun. This is actually one of my favorite soundtracks too. So you can see this place is making some goods. That's good. And well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's a city anywhere nearby that takes goods, except this one might, but I doubt it. But, so, unfortunately I'm not going to get to demonstrate that part before this ends, but I will show you how it converts into goods and such. Look at that. I have a lot of goods waiting. If only they had a place to go. Ka-ching! You notice how the crates of goods jumped up. So if I had some place to take them, you have to have a city of a certain size in order to accept goods. So, and since we don't have one nearby, I'm not going to get to demonstrate that part. But that's how you would increase your profitability, by building a nice long chain. Like iron to steel, steel to goods, or something like that. So, but other than that, that's Transport Tycoon. So I hope you enjoyed watching this Let's Play, and I believe you can find this game actually on abandonware places now to be downloaded. So I definitely recommend picking it up if you're into this kind of empire building type game. So, till next time, I will see you around.